Hello, everybody. My name is Corey Mathis, president of Arizona Storm, and thank you for taking the time to watch our video. So, last year was the first year that we did the video, kind of talking about the expectations and what to expect for the season. In previous years, I tried to make it out to everybody's parent meetings, and then I found myself running around like a chicken with my head cut off and getting to two or three a night or whatever it might be, and it just didn't seem as productive as me slowing it down and kind of going through all the expectations. So I'll make this video as short and quick as I can and get through as much information as I can so that everybody can know what to expect on any changes and just what we're doing this year. So first of all, we want to, I want to cover, so when you go to our homepage of our website, ArizonaStormFastPitch.com, the first thing you're going to see at the coach's contact information is the Strong Together logo. And that is something that if you haven't heard a lot about it, we talked a lot about it during our organizational party last January. And it is a concept that we're doing that is just that strong together. Everything that we're doing from a team by team and multiple teams together, all the way up to the organization, is just that strong together. So you'll be hearing that phrase a lot throughout, throughout the organization. You'll see it a lot on the social media and stuff like that. But it is something that is new, developed last year, and something that we're very proud of. So we'll be getting some of those shirts on our website sooner than later, so we can start ordering those. So when we're at our website, we have our Nike store. And when we click on our Nike store, it's going to give us the chance to go through and do our player packs. So you've got the player pack for 12U to 18U. You've got the player pack for 12U. For 10U. So the only difference on the 10U player pack is it's missing the white pants in there. Everything else is the same on that particular player pack. So you get the 7 shirts, the hoodie, the 3 pants, and the 4 socks for $300. So that was a price that we negotiated with Nike to make sure that we get the best deal for what we're getting out there, and real excited about that, being part of the Nike brand this year. So we've worked very hard to get to that point where it is a true partnership with Nike. We're going to be working directly with them and unveiling some different marketing ideas for them. But I know the bottom line is it's a very very key brand that they keep very tight to themselves, and they don't allow a lot of people to be part of it. So I feel very fortunate that we do get the opportunity to be part of it. And bottom line is we won't let them down on how we represent Arizona Storm and Nike. So real excited about that. So you've got the Nike store tab, and then you've got the Cleats store tab, and that's where you order your helmets and bat bags. And they have fan gear as well on that. So I'm going to backtrack on one thing on the Nike store, making sure that that we've got our player pack, and then we've got our fan gear there, and we've got our spare items. I think on the spare items is where you're going to find the belts. So make sure you get with your coach, your head coach, and make sure that they know if you are ordering belts and if you are, what color belts, and so on and so forth. So jumping back into the Cleat store, helmets and bat bags. We've got the backpack, the roller bag, and the catcher's bag. And on the helmets, the Evo Shield line, those helmets run big. It looks like the majority of our girls are going to be in that smallest size of the Evo Shield. And if those helmets are too big, then we're going to ask that you use the DeMarini line, and they have smaller sizes than that. So some of our girls that have the smaller heads are going to use the DeMarini helmets, and even if you're on an older team and you still have a smaller head, you'll be in a DeMarini helmet as opposed to Evo Shield helmet. Same difference, just different sizing on the two of those. So I would recommend paying the $2 extra to make sure you get the number put on the back so that part's done. So that covers the uniform side of things. When you go back to the Nike player pack, make sure when you go through and you do your numbers and sizes and all that stuff, double check your total on your cart before you submit payment. We've had glitches in the system that have showed 385 instead of 300. So make sure that that is reflecting the correct amount before you check out. And if it is reflecting an amount that's 385, you have to delete it and start over, and that should correct the problem. Okay. So back on our website, we've got the Nike store, cleat store. We've got our teams. This year we have 15 teams. 3 of those, or 2 of those now being out of Tucson, 12U and 14U, and all the rest being out of the Phoenix area. So real excited about the teams that we have currently in place and how competitive our organization is from top to bottom right now. We're in a good spot. When you go over to the tax info and forms tab on the website, it's going to pull up the player parent conduct form, sponsorship letter, and our tryout waiver form. So sponsorship letter is obviously if you have somebody wanting to donate money to the 501c3, it can go directly to you and or your team, and that's where you print the information for that, for the tax information for that sponsor. On the player parent code of conduct, that's where you're going to get where it says Arizona Storm softball guidelines. This is the form I would like each family to go through together, read all the guidelines, and make sure that we understand our expectations, and make sure that the player and the parents sign this and send it directly back to me. My email is on the homepage of the website, and I'll log it in the system. And this is one thing I want to make sure is done by every family, and that they understand that, hey, it means something to be wearing the Storm logo on the front of your shirt, something different than the rest of the teams out there. Okay, so it goes through our mission, our attendance, and which the attendance will be handled more on a coaches meeting type of level, injuries, dugout, stuff like that. So, the one thing that will be brought up at your coaches meeting, I'm sure, would be the dugout piece, and where it says only coaches and players are allowed in the dugout. Just give the coaches their time to conduct the game. If playing when it's hot out and you need water, make sure you're doing your best to get that before and after the games as much as possible, so you don't have multiple parents coming at the dugout. On the uniforms, I went through the Nike and the cleats uniform area, so it should make sense there. On the conduct, this is it starts out by saying good sportsmanship by all Storm players and family members are expected at all times. This, between the conduct and the image that we create for Storm, is very, very important. Okay, you're not going to see me out on the field coaching, acting like a jerk and treating other people with disrespect, or coaches or fans or players or whatever it might be. Okay, so my expectation is that does not happen from myself all the way down to our youngest team. Okay, we have an image to uphold, and we are a national recognized organization, and I want to make sure that that is something that's very near and dear to my heart, that we are just different than everybody else on the field. Enough said with that as far as I'm concerned. If you do have areas that you need to address with your coach, wait 24 hours and make sure that you've given yourself the right amount of time to make sure whatever it might be, if it's an issue with a tournament or a practice or a game, give yourself 24 hours, so it gives the coach 24 hours to get out of whatever moment they're in, whether it's after a tournament loss or a win or whatever it might be. Give 24 hours before you start addressing problems, and I promise the outcome will be a lot different than if we're screaming and yelling at somebody immediately after a game has happened or a practice, and it just never turns out good when something like that happens. So give the time, give the 24 hours, and it'll end like it should, I believe. Okay. When we get to the category of pickup play, as a Storm player, we do not allow Storm players to play for other organizations. Okay, we give time off in our schedules so that you can do that, take the time off and enjoy your time with your family. and we don't use those time off, those weekends off, so that you can play and pick up with somebody else. Now, if there's opportunity and something happens within the Storm organization and it's been worked out between the two coaches, that's a different story than picking up for a different organization. So I think that hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Team Snap and Arizona Storm Fast Pitch would be the next category in there. So all of our dues will be paid through an invoice through Team Snap. Okay, there will be no more. We're not going to be able to pay through Venmo or PayPal or any of those areas, because what we're trying to do is condense the fees into one area, so that when we have our party in January, our organizational party, which will be a big one this year because it's our 30th anniversary for Arizona Storm, we want to make sure that we can put all the money we can towards that, instead of paying fees to different entities out there that charge money for handling money. So Team Snap will be your primary way to pay money directly through whatever invoice is sent out. My wife Becky this year is handling all of the finances and invoicing for the organization. She's the one paying tournaments for our coaches, paying for fields, and anything else that the coaches need. She's really helping me out with taking that responsibility and handling the bulk of all the money that comes in and out, and tracks that as well. So on that note, we're going to have an invoice generated on the 1st, and that invoice is due by the 7th. And if it's not paid by the 15th, we'll get with that head coach and reach out and find out what's going on with that. The bottom line is that we have to have money coming in to cover what's going out. And that's basically what it is. So if we invoice on the 1st and it's not paid by the 7th, and you still have another 7 days to get it paid and we have to go to the coach, I mean, here's the advice. Don't do it. Just make sure that we're paid. Everybody knows what they're getting into joining club sports, and we just need to make sure our invoices are paid by the 7th, and we won't have any issues. If we have to get the coach involved by the 15th and nobody's heard any issues about any financial situations from a family, we're going to assume the worst, that we're just not going to get paid. So we have to start talking about making players ineligible and things like that. But let's not let it get to that point. Just make sure that if there is something going on that's not paid by the 7th, we're over communicating to the right people to make sure that they know what's going on, so nobody's thinking the worst on it. Okay. We have 2 fees during the year. We have a startup fee at the beginning of the year of $100, and we have an organizational fee of $100. So doing this as long as we know what it takes to cover the above and beyond money that it takes to run an organization. We've got taxes, we've got equipment, we've got coaches, apparel. We've got different things that we put out to make sure that we have money raised for those type of things. We have tournaments that we pay well in advance. We have different things that truly do happen throughout the year that we put that money towards, and we put a big portion of that towards our year-end party. Not our annual party in January for our organization party. So those type of things, taxes, whatnot. My travel is also covered through those fees as the head of the organization. So as we look towards every piece of the finances, we've got monthly dues, we've got a startup fee, and we've got a organizational fee. And the money goes right back into the program for every single part of that. So if there's any questions about any part of money, pick up the phone, call, email, and I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. Okay. So I think that covers everything on the fees side of it. So what I want everybody to do at this time is make sure that they go onto the website and print or electronically sign the player parent code of conduct and email that back to myself. I'll track it and log it in the system, but I would like to see, I really need this from every single player in our program, that it's signed and filed in the right place, and we have it to and we have that piece of the program done. So, anyways, if we could work on having that done in the month of September, I'd appreciate that. And if there's any other questions or concerns along the way that your head coach cannot answer, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. So, thanks for taking the time to watch the video, and have a great day.